Alright everybody, diecastmania here, and today we're going to be doing a Poclain video. It's going to be on this, the Poclain binder you see in front of you. This was actually a Salesman binder from the West Coast. I believe it was from a California dealership from around 1975, so there's going to be some interesting stuff in there. We'll get to that in a second, but anyway, I have a bunch of models here, and this one's actually the very first die-cast Poclain model ever made. The SC-150 by Gesha. Before that, they were made out of plastic in 1/43rd scale by a company called Bourbon, based in France. So these were decent. So anyway, the later models, like this HC300 shovel, ended up having metal rods. So it's a lot smoother. Yeah. So anyway, Poclain actually tried to sell their own excavators for a short time in the late 60s and early 1970s, up until around 1976 or so, 1977. These were the days before Case was actually involved in any of this, and they sold them through something called the American Poclain Corporation. Now, they had a headquarters in New Jersey, I believe, and then they tried to produce excavators at a plant in Fredericksburg, Virginia. But things didn't exactly work out. It was poor timing there. They never really produced the volume that they wanted to produce at that plant. And, things fell apart pretty quick. And that's when Case kind of came in and tried to bail them out a little bit by purchasing a bunch of shares. And at that point, Case, one of the conditions was that Case would take over the distribution in the US. So by around 78 or so, the American Poclain Corporation was completely dissolved. So this would have been obsolete by then. So this is around a 1975 binder. There's some interesting stuff in here. You can pause if you want to read it. Some of this stuff is pretty common with the European documents, but I'll try to share some of the more interesting ones. So since there was actual branch over here, or part of the company over here, some of the documents are actually exclusive to the States. Then they're not just translations. So this one is the MC100L, the long undercarriage version. Not going to spend way too much time on these. I'm going to show the pages pretty quick and move on, but there's some much more interesting things in here coming up. So one of the things about Poclain was that they just had a lot of options for their excavators. Cat around this time in the 70s only had the 225, 235, and 245, but as you can see here, they even made their own clamshell grab on the extended stick for reaching really far down. They made their own augers, all sorts of grapples, and you could even turn these things into cranes. If I have any crane guys watching, there's the chart for that. So yeah, this one right here, it has the address in France, has American Poclain Corporation, 3401 Tidewater Trail, Fredericksburg, Virginia. And then there's also Poclain Canada and Poclain Limited for UK. But anyway, here's GC120K, heavy undercarriage version. This is something you just don't see at all anymore. Something that's not like computer generated or not a photo either. That's like drawn, or actually it could be a black and white with some color added to it. But anyway, it's cool either way. Yeah, so these older brochures, they just have a combination of artwork and actual photos. So again, they offered so many different attachments and booms, grapples, different buckets too, even a trapezoid bucket. So here we go. As you can see, bring this closer to you guys. American Poclain Corporation, Rahway, New Jersey. And as you can see, that's a couple of their models at the time. I think that's TY45, or is that TY30, something smaller. So anyway, back when they had the tricycle style excavators, that's the GC120 at the end. And then it's got Stantz's North American Equipment Corp, West Sacramento. Yeah, so this is one of the examples of the America only documents in here. GC120. Again, yeah, that might be a photo with some color splashed on there. So this one's yeah, just a standard GC120, not the heavy undercarriage or the long undercarriage. So this one is, huh, that's interesting. This is actually an older copy, because it states the GC120 is the largest machine in the line. I mean, for its time, it was pretty respectable. Around, it was a 35 ton machine. Yeah, 110 horsepower air-cooled Deutz. $48,500, so I'm a little bit off there. Not quite in the 30s. So again, North American Equipment. I believe this is the same exact thing that was on the, yeah, in the front of the thing. But here's something a little newer, TCS. So I think this, the latest that anything in this binder goes is 1975, but there are earlier models in here as well. So this was something that would have been on the desk, you know, showing potential customers, or even for just internal use, keeping track of things. So the TCS, TC, probably Super. The S was a improved version of the TC45, which was a crawler version of the standard or classic three-wheeler machine. So they basically took this one and improved it, and as you can see, this was the earlier cab, and they've modernized it with some newer windshield and probably a little bit of insulation. You know, minimal stuff like that. Does that fold? Yeah, this folds out. So again, backhoe, loader, ditching, the long clamshell. So anyway, here's the LC80. This one's a little more in depth on this model, as you can see. a nice cutaway right there. Yeah, the illustrations in this one are pretty nice. Got these nice wide pictures that you really don't get on newer brochures. This is talking about the clamshell. It's the long mount clamshell. So this would be for deeper excavation, shafts and all that stuff. Could probably get a slurry well started with one of these. You probably wouldn't want the cylinder and all that stuff exposed under there. But anyway, clamshell handling, so handling rock or bulk stuff. You get a beetroot grab, wood grab, rock grapple, wood grapple, and a rehandling clam. So this is about mining. Yeah, the LC80, huh, this one. And this is just pure pictures, so some of you will appreciate this. There was the crane option we were looking at earlier, like on the MC100. That's like bales of paper or pulp, handling a big reinforced concrete pipe. The neat thing about these is they actually tell you where the pictures are from. Yeah, this is all specs and everything. But this is cool. So if this went to a customer when they bought their machine, dealer would stamp it right there. And these are all the different service numbers and everything, or the headquarters. West Germany, Austria, Canada, Spain, Great Britain, Italy, Belgium, Netherlands, US, Hong Kong, Mexico. This was printed in West Germany. Wow. Behind here we got more specs and everything. I don't know if I've scanned this one, but the thing I usually do is I scan most of the documents I get. But alright, I think that'll do it for this part. I'll break the rest of the video into roughly 15 to 20 minute sections and upload those as I go. So anyway, there you go. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.